Right, we've misfilled Seat Ibiza TDI, so we've put petrol in. It's a diesel. That's got to come out. Going to drain that completely. Really, I ought to replace that. Back seat just clips out very easily. Take off this cover. Unclip these two pipes by pushing in. There's an edge, there's a rounded edge, there's a flat edge and a rounded edge. On the rounded edge, push it in and they pop up. One goes in, one goes out. I can smell the fuel, the petrol that's in there. So I'm either going to have to tap this round, this ring, or I might put a pipe, a siphon pipe on that to a can and put a little bit, I've got a hobby compressor, put a hobby compressor on and push in air, which will push hopefully the petrol and what little bit of diesel in there out of that one. That's what we're going to try and do. Here's where we're at. I've went to my local ironmongers. I've got some fairly narrow diameter piping. The blue connection is the return, which is this one here on the right, and the black one is where the fuel would go off to the engine compartment. So what I'm going to do is put a compressor on the blue one, so I'm going to force air into the tank, and then hopefully the fuel will come out of what was on the black one. So I've rigged up my hobby compressor up to a handheld. I want to run about 10 pound per square inch. That's a Lilo attachment, can you see that? And the fuel pipe sits on there nicely. And then as you can see, we've already started. The petrol and diesel mix drops into this tray. Important here, electricity and the potential for sparks and armatures in the motor don't mix with fuel. So let's have a good distance, okay? Let's keep it safe, people. So that's where we're at, and as you can see, it's working. And the RAC wanted £199. Not today, thank you. We've been running for about 10 minutes now, and as you can see, the fuel's running out of there nicely. That's been running for about half hour now. It's still going nicely. Now we're going to look at this baby. Obviously blue is going back. That must be going back to the petrol, or sorry, the diesel tank, and the black one must be inward, so I'm going to have to drain that off at the bottom there. Probably take all these connectors off and empty that out. I really ought to be changing this fuel filter. They're only about 15-20 quid. And I'm going to put the pipe in this washing up bowl and purge whatever fuel's in there at the moment. Having a think up here, I think these are the two pipes that go to the fuel tank. So blue goes back, black comes from. So it must come up, down through the filter, and go out to the fuel pump. I think it's called a tandem pump. Then it comes back from the tandem pump, back through the filter, and then obviously carries on back to the tank. That's the return for if there's too much fuel. Although somewhere it must get to the injectors. Buggered if I know. Oh well. Anyway, whatever I do, I'm going to try and purge it best I can.